Can you talk about the situation with Tony Yayo in Miami? Because you've said that you had like 2 million on in jewelry, and Tony ran
And
up
I
on
don't think it
you.
was 2 million. It was probably about 1.3 million, 1.4 million, maybe 1.5 million.
But you said that he never asked you if you wanted a pass.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I don't. This is what I mean. This is from my recall. We was Source Awards. It was broad daylight. I was with my man Hawk, and for some reason, usually I had all my jewelry on early as walking down the beach. Now that was crazy, because I don't remember always doing that. But it was the daylight. Not that I was worried about anything, but I don't usually wear everything because I had the big Gladiator. That was 500,000. Then I had the Z piece. That was like 1 million. So then I had the 3, and I had the masterpiece. Then I had dumb jewelry on. And I just remember walking, and this was broad daylight. Didn't have a strap. This is on Collins Avenue. Why would I need a strap on Collins Ave at like 12 in the afternoon? But, sometimes, boy, you get caught your pants down. But I remember him jumping out, and his man, Lodi Mac, I didn't know, we did our homework. He's not Lodi Mac, ain't here no more. But he jumped out, and I just remember he kept going in his pocket like, yo, what's up? And they screaming, like he getting loud. And Yayo's like, yo, what's up, man? What it is? I was like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? I'm standing on the sidewalk, me and Hawk. And Hawk's kind of big. But they jump out. Now, Hawk said he seen 50 in the car. He said 50 was in, it was Suburban, I think. A black Suburban, tinted out. And again, Lodi's behind him. He's like, yo, what's up? What you want? You want it? He's saying something like that. Now, I'm not saying nothing. I'm like, what's up? I did say, what's up? And then I just remember, the girl said, get back. A girl was screaming, get back in the car, get back in the car. They jumped in the car and took off. And that was it. I don't remember the patch shit and all that. I don't remember. And even like, oh no, I ain't never been in a situation where said, hey, you want to pass? Because if it was the other way around, I would have stripped him. If we pulling up, if me and my from Boston, I can name a bunch of them, are pulling up and he got jewelry on, walking down Collins, and we pulling up and I'm strapped up, all that shit would have came off. 100%. Ain't no fucking way I'm gonna be like, you want to pass or do you want it and all that. We don't do that. We don't do that from Boston. We don't do all that. We would have ran right up on his ass and we would have stripped him. And that didn't happen. So I don't know what type of theatrics. Again, he's the storyteller dude. I told you, the whole thing about Murder Inc. He just lied about that. See, one thing for sure, two things for certain, right? People who come up under other guys. See, we built different in Boston, right? Like though I was the head, I always stood shoulder to shoulder with all my guys. You know what I'm saying? If my guys ever did an interview and talked about like how he gets paid to talk about 50. His conversations are only about 50 cents. He has nothing to talk about himself. He's a hype man. He's 50's guy. But he gets paid to talk about another man. I couldn't do it. My sons would never do it. And my that I came up, I wouldn't even want them to do that. I know they wouldn't, but I'd feel a way if it would be talking about me like I'm, you know what I'm saying? I just, and I get it. See, I get a lot of guys came up under guys. I watch Bleak talk about Jay. Yayo talk about 50. I get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand it because I guess they so big. You know what I'm saying? But, at the end of the day, you got to talk about yourself. You got to talk about you and your legacy. You know what I'm saying? I don't, it is what it is. I don't knock nobody for what they doing. That's how he gets his paper. He get booked to talk about 50. People pay him to talk about 50. I like I said, the Shannon Sharp interview threw me for a loop because, of course, it's going to be, of course, Yayo's going to say them and this and that, but how does Shannon jump in and say, yeah, Ja Rule's low-hanging fruit? He blew my mind when he said that. He f***ed me up. That's when I knew, like, Shannon, I knew he's losing his way. He's losing his way. You know, Ja Rule has arguably one of the biggest catalogs in hip hop history that he's still making thousands of dollars, millions of dollars from and doing shows from, feeding his family, black man. But Shannon Sharpe said Ja Rule's low-hanging fruit. See, that's the problem with these podcasts and hip hop. It's giving people the illusion like they with the culture and they with the people when they're really not. It's an illusion. And, you know, he's not the only one. You know, I know these guys didn't come up like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like me calling somebody from the NFL low-hanging fruit. Why would I do that when I know I can't do nothing on that field? I can't do nothing on that field. And especially to like an all-star, like it's one thing to have, you can have, you know, everybody has sports talk where everybody talks shit, whatever, but it's like, come on, man, in public, it just, I get frustrated when I see shit like that. It's just, there's no call for it, man. Like, I don't understand it.
What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon, so hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.